Did you know that Poland will send an additional 2,000 troops to reinforce its border with Belarus? The troops will join the 2,000 soldiers already stationed near the border. The move is in response to Wagner mercenaries having previously arrived in Belarus, as well as an uptick of mainly Middle Eastern and African migrants trying to cross the border in recent months. Did you know that the Republican National Committee previously announced requirements for the second primary debate? It requires candidates to have 50,000 unique donors and hit 3% in a few polls. Did you know that the EU delivered 223,800 shells to Ukraine? The aid package includes 2,300 different types of missiles, including long-range self-propelled, precision-guided ammunitions and mortar ammunitions. Did you know that the UK announced plans to target lawyers aiding illegal migration schemes? This follows reports in the Daily Mail that a number of lawyers agreed to aid an undercover journalist posing as an economic migrant submit a false application in exchange for thousands of pounds. Did you know that Germany will see TSMC put €3.5 billion toward its first microchip production plant in Europe? TSMC will invest with two other firms, putting the total investment figure at €10 billion. The fab is expected to be operational in 2027. Did you know that China saw its sharpest drop in exports since July 2020? Sales of Chinese products to foreign markets fell by 14.5% year-on-year in July, shrinking for the third consecutive month. Did you know that the UK's housing of asylum seekers costs the government £2.3 billion annually? Did you know that Ron DeSantis sidestepped a question on abortion? When asked if he would veto a federal bill that would impose a nationwide abortion ban, DeSantis said he would be a pro-life president and would support pro-life policies. Did you know that Poland will station up to 10,000 troops at the Belarus border? This is in response to alleged provocations by Belarus, as well as an uptick in illegal migration. Did you know that Poland reported that 19,000 migrants have tried to enter Poland from Belarus so far this year? Just 16,000 made the attempt during all of 2022. Last month alone, over 4,000 migrants tried to cross the border. Did you know that Joe Biden signed an executive order barring some investments in Chinese firms engaged in developing quantum computing, sensors and networks? The ban also extends to certain artificial intelligence firms. The order also requires U.S. firms to notify the federal government if they invest in some lower-end semiconductor production not already covered by export controls. Did you know that Volodymyr Zelensky fired all the heads of Ukraine's regional army recruitment centers? Zelensky said that a state investigation exposed abuses by officials ranging from illegal enrichment to transporting draft-eligible men across the border despite a wartime ban on them leaving the country. Did you know that Donald Trump said he would not sign the RNC's loyalty pledge required for the first debate? Trump says he may skip the debate. He has noted his large lead in the polls and questioned why he should participate and allow other candidates to attack him to gain traction. Did you know that Joe Biden is the target of articles of impeachment filed by Greg Stoop? The articles feature accusations of fraud, obstruction of justice, and bribery stemming from allegations of illegal business dealings and tax crimes. Did you know that Donald Trump is believed by some to have tried to stay in office illegally? A CBS News poll found that 51% of Americans think that Trump tried to stay in office beyond his term through illegal and unconstitutional means. 29% said he tried to stay in office using legal means, while 20% said he did not attempt to stay in office. Did you know that Mike Pence has qualified for the first GOP presidential primary debate? Pence has met both the 40,000 donor requirement as well as the polling requirement. Did you know that the Biden administration's deal with Iran would release 5 detained Americans and an unknown number of Iranians in the U.S.? It would also unfreeze $6 billion in Iranian assets located in South Korea that would be transferred to Qatar and then to Tehran. Did you know that Donald Trump's indictments have mixed views? A CBS News poll found that 59% said that the investigations into Trump and the indictments against him are efforts to stop his 2024 presidential campaign. 57% said that they were to uphold the rule of law, while 52% said they were to defend democracy. Did you know that the Biden administration is asking Congress for around $40 billion in new emergency spending? Over $24 billion would go towards Ukraine aid, $12 billion would replenish a dwindling pot of federal disaster relief, and $4 billion would go towards the southern border for aid for migrants and counter fentanyl efforts. Did you know that Joe Biden's 2020 win is doubted by many GOP voters? A CNN poll found that 69% of Republican and Republican-leaning voters believe that Biden's 2020 win was not legitimate. Did you know that Donald Trump could be in electoral trouble if he is convicted? A Reuters/Ipsos poll found that 45% of Republicans said they would not vote for Trump if he were convicted, while 35% said they would still vote for Trump. Did you know that Nikki Haley has promised to defund sanctuary cities? She has also proposed taking back the additional federal budget for the IRS and giving it to Customs and Border Patrol to hire 25,000 new agents for the border. She also proposed re-implementing the Remain in Mexico policy. Did you know that Ohio voters voted against a ballot measure that would make it harder to pass amendments to the state constitution? One hurdle would have required at least 60% of voters to pass any amendments. The measure was viewed as an effort to undercut a November ballot measure aiming to enshrine abortion rights into the state's constitution. Did you know that Donald Trump leads in a New Hampshire GOP primary poll by NH Journal and Coefficient? Trump garnered 43% support. Chris Christie and Ron DeSantis tied for second with 9. Nikki Haley followed with 7. Did you know that the U.S. government saw federal budget deficit reached $1.6 trillion in the 10-month period ending in July? This is according to an estimation by the Congressional Budget Office. Did you know that Donald Trump is believed by some Americans to have acted illegally? A poll from NPR, PBS NewsHour, and Marist National Poll found that 51% of Americans believe Trump has done something illegal. 27% said he had done something unethical but not illegal, while 19% said he had done nothing wrong. Did you know that Donald Trump is believed by some to have acted illegally in relation to the Mar-a-Lago documents? An APNORC poll found that 53% believed he had done something illegal related to the handling of classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago residence. Did you know that Donald Trump leads in an Iowa GOP primary poll by New York Times and Siena College? Trump garnered 44% support among likely Iowa GOP caucus goers. DeSantis followed with 20. Tim Scott came third with 9. Did you know that Bob Menendez faces another investigation? Investigators are looking into how New Jersey-based company ISEG Halal got an exclusive contract to certify meat for the Egyptian government. They are also looking into whether Menendez and his wife received gifts like a luxury car and Washington apartment from those linked to the company. Did you know that Kirsten Gillibrand and Josh Hawley previously unveiled the stock ban bill? The bill would ban congressional members, the president, vice president, senior executive branch members, and their spouses and dependents from holding or trading stocks, with no exception to blind trusts. Did you know that Nikki Haley signed the RNC pledge saying she would support the eventual Republican nominee? Did you know that Dean Phillips said that he would encourage other Democrats to primary Joe Biden? Phillips even name-dropped Joe Manchin and Cornel West before saying he felt the same way about all of the Democratic governors. Did you know that Ron DeSantis' campaign has seen a switch-up? Janera Peck was moved from campaign manager to chief strategist, while James Uthmeyer will serve as campaign manager. Did you know that Nikki Haley criticized Tommy Tuberville's hold on military promotions? Haley said that the act was shameful and that there should be other ways of responding to the Pentagon's abortion policy. Tuberville has been blocking Pentagon nominees since March over the policy of reimbursing expenses for service members who need to travel to obtain an abortion. Did you know that Ron DeSantis suspended State Attorney Monique Worrell for an alleged neglect of duty? This follows Attorney General Ashley Moody citing an incident that left 2 cops shot. Moody said Worrell had not filed motion for pretrial detention for the shooting suspect, who was awaiting trial for the alleged rape of a girl. Did you know that the Supreme Court revived the Biden administration's restrictions on ghost guns by pausing a lower court's ban on the restrictions? Ghost guns are firearms that are sold as do-it-yourself kits and are generally hard to trace. The case will now proceed in a lower appeals court. Did you know that Vivek Ramaswamy argued against ESG? Ramaswamy said that ESG policies are grave threats to liberty and that the climate change agenda is a hoax. Did you know that Ron DeSantis said he would not support punishments for women who violate abortion bans? DeSantis said that many of the women are in very difficult situations and usually don't get support from the father. Did you know that Ron DeSantis signed the RNC's loyalty pledge? It is required for one to partake in the first presidential debate and states that the candidate will support the eventual nominee of the party's primary and that the candidate will not participate in any debate the RNC has not sanctioned.